All right, so you're ready to finally trek Nepal, huh?
That's right.
We've been getting a ton of questions about this lately,
Okay.
and I think we finally found a guide that will help us get to the bottom of this.
Okay.
So we're going on a deep dive to figure out the best time to trek in Nepal,
Excellent.
from Everest Base Camp to the Annapurna Valleys, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to make sure you have the absolute best experience.
Absolutely.
So we're going to break down the seasons
Okay.
because timing is really everything.
Yeah, it can really make or break a trip.
The guide we found has a ton of information.
Oh, yeah, it's super detailed.
So we're going to go through each season,
Great.
spring, summer, fall, winter,
Sounds good.
and talk about the pros and cons of each one.
Perfect.
All right. So let's kick things off with spring,
Okay.
March through May.
Right.
It's got to be gorgeous, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All the rhododendrons blooming.
Yeah, the mountains are just bursting with color.
And hopefully not too crowded.
That's right.
So what can you tell us about spring?
Well, spring is definitely a spectacular time to visit Nepal.
Okay.
The weather's generally mild with comfortable trekking temperatures,
Okay.
and you usually get really clear skies.
Nice. So you can really see those Himalayan vistas.
Exactly. And with fewer crowds than peak season.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. And another cool thing about spring is that
Yeah.
you might come across hidden waterfalls.
What?
They're fueled by the melting snow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really breathtaking.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so hidden waterfalls, blooming rhododendrons. What's the catch?
Well, spring in Nepal can be a bit unpredictable.
Oh,
We might run into some occasional rain showers,
really?
especially at higher altitudes.
Mm.
And another thing to keep in mind is that some of those charming tea houses,
Yeah, the little lodges.
right, might still be closed early in the season.
Oh, okay, so maybe double check if they're open.
Yeah, especially in more remote areas.
So fewer crowds, blooming rhododendrons, maybe pack a rain jacket. Okay, so which treks really stand out during spring?
Well, for a classic experience, you can't go wrong with the Annapurna circuit.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that one's amazing.
Yeah, it takes you through such diverse landscapes.
Okay.
You get to see the entire Annapurna massive,
Wow.
including Annapurna, the 10th highest peak in the world.
So you get some killer views.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, that one's going on the bucket list for sure.
Definitely.
Now, what about Everest Base Camp?
Oh, yeah,
Is spring a good time to do that one?
absolutely.
Okay.
Spring is a fantastic time for Everest Base Camp.
Oh.
You'll have comfortable temperatures, generally clear skies,
Mm-hmm.
and way fewer people vying for that perfect photo op at the foot of Mount Everest.
I can imagine that gets pretty crowded.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Annapurna Everest. Any other hidden gems that come alive in the spring?
Well, have you heard of the Langtang Valley?
I don't think so.
It's known for its incredible biodiversity,
Okay.
and spring is the perfect time to see it.
What's so special about it?
Well, the trails are just alive with wildflowers during spring.
Oh, wow.
And you might even spot the elusive red panda.
Wait, red pandas?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Langtang Valley just shot to the top of my list.
Uh-huh.
All right, so before we get carried away, let's move on to summer.
Right.
June to August,
Right.
monsoon season.
That's right.
So I'm assuming trekking is off the table.
Well, not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Summer does transform Nepal into this lush green paradise,
I bet.
but the heavy rainfall and potential landslides make trekking challenging,
Yeah, I can imagine.
and in some cases dangerous.
So not for the faint of heart,
Right.
but for those adventurous souls who do brave the monsoon.
Yeah.
What are the upsides?
Well, the landscapes are incredibly vibrant,
Okay.
and you get cooler temperatures at higher altitudes.
That makes sense.
And the rain creates this symphony of waterfalls cascading down the hillsides.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's really quite a sight.
I bet.
Yeah.
So are there any treks that you'd actually recommend during monsoon season?
Well, there are a few.
Okay.
The Dolpo region, for example,
Okay.
with its unique culture and stark landscapes.
Mm-hmm.
It's popular, but it's best to go during the drier months.
Okay.
But some trekkers do venture there during the monsoon.
For a real challenge.
Yeah, for a truly off-the-beaten-path experience.
Got it.
Yeah,
So Dolpo for the hardcore trekkers?
pretty much.
Anything else?
Another option is the Manaslu circuit.
Okay.
It's a less crowded alternative to the Annapurna circuit,
Okay.
and it offers some really breathtaking views of the Manaslu Massif.
Nice.
But it is a demanding trek,
Okay.
and the monsoon season can make it even tougher.
So summer in Nepal is for the experienced trekkers seeking a challenge?
I'd say so, yeah.
All right, fair enough. Now let's talk about autumn,
Okay.
September through November.
Sounds good.
I've heard this is prime time for trekking in Nepal.
You heard correctly.
Okay.
Autumn offers the most stable weather
Perfect.
with crystal clear skies and comfortable temperatures.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's no wonder it's the most popular time to trek.
Okay, so we've got perfect weather, but does that mean huge crowds?
Yes, autumn does bring in the crowds,
As I suspected.
especially on those iconic routes
Okay.
like Annapurna Circuit and Everest Base Camp.
Yeah, makes sense.
So if you're trekking during peak season,
Yeah.
booking tea houses and permits in advance is really important.
Okay, so definitely plan ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, crowds aside, those clear skies and comfortable temperatures sound pretty ideal.
Yeah, definitely.
So which treks would you recommend for Nepal in autumn?
Well, the classics are classics for a reason.
Okay.
The Annapurna Circuit in autumn is truly spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have perfect weather for traversing those high mountain passes
Yeah.
and enjoying those panoramic views.
Okay.
And Everest Base Camp, well, nothing beats seeing Mount Everest in all its glory on a crisp autumn day.
All right, so Annapurna and Everest, what else you got?
The Langtang Valley is also stunning in autumn.
Okay.
The fall colors add another dimension of beauty to the already diverse landscape.
Oh, wow, I bet.
And the weather is ideal for exploring the region's rich flora and fauna.
So it sounds like autumn is really the perfect time to go.
Yeah, it's hard to beat.
You just got to be prepared to share the trails.
Exactly.
Now, for those who really want to get away from the crowds,
Yeah.
what about winter?
Winter in Nepal.
December to February.
Yes, that's right.
That's going to be a whole different experience.
It is.
What's it like?
Well, winter in Nepal offers a unique experience.
Okay.
Think serene landscapes blanketed in snow,
Mm-hmm.
crisp mountain air,
Okay.
and a sense of tranquility
Okay.
that comes with far fewer crowds.
That's the appeal, right?
Yeah.
Peace and quiet,
Exactly.
but also freezing.
Haha, yeah.
So tell me about trekking in Nepal during winter.
Well, the pros are undeniable.
Yeah.
You get stunning views of the snow-capped Himalayas.
Yeah.
And the trails will be much quieter,
Okay.
offering more peaceful and intimate trekking experience.
Nice.
Plus, the weather is generally stable with those clear blue skies.
Okay, so tranquil trails and breathtaking views. But what about the cold?
Yeah, that's the main kind.
Okay.
The temperatures, especially at higher altitudes, can be harsh,
Like how cold are we talking?
often dipping below freezing.
Brr.
You need to be prepared with the proper gear
Yeah.
and have experience trekking in those conditions.
Okay.
And keep in mind, some tea houses might be closed for the season.
Oh, right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
All right, so winter trekking is for the experienced adventurer who doesn't mind bundling up.
Exactly.
So for those brave souls, which treks are good options for a winter adventure?
Well, Everest Base Camp in winter is completely different than in peak season.
Okay.
Imagine standing at the foot of the world's highest peak with only a handful of other people around.
Wow, that would be incredible.
Yeah, it's a totally different experience.
Okay, any other treks you'd recommend for winter?
The Annapurna Circuit is also a great choice for winter.
Okay.
You can enjoy the scenery without the usual crowds.
Nice.
And for those looking for something a bit closer to Kathmandu,
Yeah.
there are some fantastic short treks in the Kathmandu Valley
Okay.
that give you a taste of the Himalayas without venturing too high.
Oh, like what? Can you give us an example?
Absolutely. The Kathmandu Valley Ridge Trek is a great option.
Okay.
It's a 3-day trek that takes you along the ridge lines surrounding the Kathmandu Valley,
Okay.
offering stunning views of the surrounding peaks.
So we've journeyed through all 4 seasons,
Yeah.
from the blooming rhododendrons of spring to the serene, snow-capped peaks of winter.
That's right.
It's clear that Nepal offers something special year-round.
Absolutely.
But I'm curious, what stands out to you? Which season is calling your name?
It really is fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Each season just offers a totally different perspective on Nepal's beauty.
Right.
Like, if you're drawn to that energy of new life and vibrant colors,
Yeah.
spring might be your perfect match.
Okay.
But if you're all about those crisp, clear Himalayan views
Mm-hmm.
and you don't mind sharing the trail with fellow adventurers,
Yeah.
autumn is calling. And then there's winter,
Yeah.
the ultimate off-the-beaten-path experience.
I know. And as we've been talking, I can't help but think about the treks themselves.
Right?
Do you have a favorite?
Oh, that's a tough one.
I know, right?
But there's something about the Annapurna Circuit
Yeah.
that just keeps drawing me back.
Really?
Maybe it's the diversity of the landscapes.
Yeah.
From those lush valleys to the high mountain passes.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's just those panoramic views of the Annapurna Massif.
Yeah.
There's just something really special about it.
I can see why it's such a classic.
Yeah.
But that Everest Base Camp trek,
Oh, yeah.
There's just something about standing at the foot of the world's highest peak.
I know.
It really captures the imagination.
Definitely.
So regardless of which season or trek you choose,
Yeah.
there's one thing that is absolutely crucial for any Nepal adventure.
You got an altitude acclimatization?
Right. Altitude sickness is no joke.
No, it's not.
What advice would you give to someone who's never trekked at a high altitude before?
Well, the key is to ascend gradually.
Okay.
You got to allow your body time to adjust to the thinner air.
Right.
So listen to your body
Yeah.
and take rest days when needed.
Okay.
Don't push yourself too hard too soon.
Got it. What about packing? I know we touched on gear for different seasons,
Right.
but what are the absolute must-haves for any Nepal trek?
Well, sturdy hiking boots are essential
Of course.
for navigating those rocky trails.
Right.
And don't underestimate the power of layers.
Okay.
The weather in the mountains can change so quickly.
Yeah.
You need to be prepared for everything from scorching sun to chilly winds
Oh, wow.
and even snow,
Really?
depending on the season and altitude.
Okay, I'm going to go check my backpack right now.
Uh-huh.
What about safety?
Right.
I mean, Nepal's trails can be pretty rugged.
You're right, they can be.
Yeah.
That's why I often recommend considering a reputable trekking company,
Okay.
especially for first-time trekkers
Yeah.
or those tackling more challenging routes.
Yeah. What are the benefits of going with a company?
Well, they handle all the logistics,
Okay.
like permits and transportation.
Yeah.
Plus, they provide experienced guides who know the trails like the back of their hand,
Mm-hmm.
and they can offer support along the way.
So it just adds a layer of safety.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
probably makes the whole experience more enjoyable.
Exactly.
And speaking of guides,
Yeah.
I imagine they can also enrich the experience
Oh, definitely.
by sharing their knowledge of the local culture
Absolutely.
and the environment.
Yeah, they can point out things you might miss on your own,
Okay.
share stories about the region,
Nice.
and introduce you to the local people.
It's all about being a mindful traveler, right?
Exactly.
Respecting the local customs and traditions.
Yeah, for sure.
Asking before you take photos of people,
Right.
dressing modestly,
Mm-hmm.
especially when visiting temples and monasteries.
Yeah.
Learning a few basic Nepali phrases.
All of that goes a long way in showing respect.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From dissecting the pros and cons of each season
Right.
to essential tips for planning a safe and unforgettable trek.
Mm-hmm.
What final thoughts would you leave our listener with as
Mm-hmm.
they embark on this incredible journey? It feels like we just threw a ton of info at them.
Yeah, a bit.
How do we even wrap this all up?
Well, I think the most important thing is to just remember that there's no single best time to trek in Nepal.
Right.
It really all comes down to your own preferences and priorities.
Exactly. Like each season has its own unique charm.
Absolutely.
What final words of wisdom would you give to our listener as
Mm.
they're planning their Nepal adventure?
I would say embrace the research process.
Yeah.
Really dive deep into the different tracks. Consider
Right.
what's important to you.
Right.
Scenery, the challenge level, the solitude,
Mhm.
and then just let the season choose you.
I love that let the season choose you. That's
Aw.
beautiful. And remember, this deep dive is just the beginning of your adventure.
Exactly.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, keep those hiking boots ready.
Happy trekking.
All right, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the best time to trek in Nepal.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
We'll catch you in the next episode.